up? What up? What up? Good morning, guys. Welcome to my fancy new little introduction as we continue to level up and learn. And, I said the other day that I have this cool leadership book that I am reading one page a day out of. And I wanted to get caught up once I started that. So today I'm actually doing two. Right. So I am going through a page a day, and it's all about leadership and different leadership's lessons. And today's are charting the course and the law of priorities, and I can't promise that I'm going to be able to do it every day. Just because of what I have in the ebbs and flow. I'll get it out every day, but I'm going to try to stay consistent and do it at the same time every day, sometime between 8 and 8:30 in the morning, so I can catch you on your morning drive and kind of give you something to get your day started with, right? Don't mind me. You can hear I'm a little nasally. I got a little whatever going on. But I'm going to try to hit this up Monday through Friday, like between 8 and 8:30 every day. I will do it every day at some point, but I'm really going to try to stay consistent in the morning so that you have something to get your day started with, man. And listen, if at any point in time you want to jump on here, you want to come on, you've got a question, you want to be engaged, man, I want this to be interactive. I want it to be, hey, have you thought about this? Or this is what I do. Or, hey, let's come on and have a quick discussion. A half hour, 45-minute conversation every morning to get your day started. Get that 60 for you. Make today your day and get it going, man. So here we go, right? And I'm going to use this book as a guide, like I'm standing, on a little podium and I'm reading notes and we're having a conversation and it's really informal, right? That's what I'm trying to do. So charting the course, it says at the bottom, have you taken the time to chart the course for the people that you're leading, right? Because even if you're in a work center and you're not necessarily in a position of leadership, you're leading. You're leading your family, you're leading yourself, you're leading your peer group. And if you are in a position of leadership, you're certainly leading. You're responsible for people's morale. You're responsible for people's well-being. You're responsible for people's just about everything while they're in your charge during that time. So have you taken the time to chart the course for the people that you're leading? At some point in time, you have to do a yearly evaluation. Do your people know what their expectations are? Have you gone through and set the standard for the people that you're working for? I'm going to start. It says nearly anyone can steer a ship. Love the Navy reference, right? But it takes a leader to chart the course. Before leaders take their people on a journey, they become navigators and go through a process in order to give the trip the best chance of being a success. Right, way before I ever decided to open Capital Tacos, I spent 3 years planning this process, right? 3 years planning and navigating and charting that course. I had an equal balance between, okay, what do I want to do? And then how do I balance being a full-time teacher, running full-time tournaments, being a full-time father, being a full-time husband? How do I match all those things together? How do I handle the waves that come through? How do I chart that course so that as I continue to learn and grow, people don't stay here? Because anytime you create a gap in leadership, you create a deficiency. And if you create that gap from leader to worker or a lack of understanding, you create a deficiency. And look, there's a lot of softball people on here. That's for your softball team as well. If you create a gap between you and the parents, you have a deficiency. You have to speak to them. You have to let them know your plan. You have to let them know, well, here's my schedule. Here's my budget. Here's my practice plan. Here's what's going to happen if you have a question. Here's what's going to happen if you want to re-navigate. Here's what's going to happen if your player has a question. If you have it just depends on the age group and where you're at. Coach, you've got to positively navigate the process of 12, 13, 14 people, families, decisions, ideas, backgrounds, cultures, beliefs. I can't come because of this day or there's just a million and one things that you have to be able to chart the course for. It says navigators draw on past experience. Most natural leaders are activists. They tend to look forward, not backward, make decisions and move on. But for leaders to become good navigators, they need to take time to reflect and learn from their experience. That's maturity, right? That's maturity. So if you've got maturity, or as you get older, funny. A story is young Bill Hoop. Somebody comes to me and says, you're not ready for this. You're just immature. You're just not ready. I know you think you're ready on where you're at. And at the time I was like, what do you mean I'm not ready? What are you talking about? I'm at the top of my. But that was immaturity. They were telling me exactly what I needed to hear, but I wasn't able to see it through my own eyes. But now I can draw on that experience. When I came into coaching softball, when I came into running an organization, when I came into owning a restaurant, leading teams, I was able to rely on my experience from the United States Navy, from my experience from life, from being a chief petty officer, right? And learning that process and having continual failure, being put on the USS Theodore Roosevelt, right, with absolutely little to no experience, right? Went to recruiting as an E5, was a recruiter for 3 years, made E6, and then boom, welcome to the USS Theodore Roosevelt, 6-year Navy guy who's never led a team on a piece of steel before. Now you're in charge of these 6 people, go do it. And you got to find a good mentor yourself, and you got to be able to draw an experience, right? So at that point, I didn't have a lot of experience. So I used my life experience, my intuition, my continual drive to want to move forward. But now at 44, as I'm building teams in other places, I'm able to rely on that experience. So what experience do you rely on? When you're sitting there charting the course for your navigators, right? For your people that you're leading, what experience do you draw on, right? Do you have hard times that you went through? Are you an executive that has been through it? Have you had to work your way up? We all have our own story on how we chart the course and navigate the waters. So what is your story, right? Think about that. And then how can you draw on that experience to be able to, not only propel yourself forward, but bring your team together, right? Bring that team together, build positive culture. It goes on to say, we examine conditions before making commitments. We need to know what the intangibles are, such as timing, finance, resource, talent, morale, momentum, and culture. Right? Talk about culture, right? If you follow Andy Elliott, I follow Andy Elliott and the Elliott Army and his crew, and they make posts all the time that we put the cult in culture, right? Okay, right? Who's on your team? Who is ready to go to war for you? And are you examining the conditions before you make commitments to bring them to war? You're the leader. Do you understand what's going on and how you can, keep them from facing those particular speed bumps on the path to where they're going, right? So I challenge you to understand your full and total commitment. If you're a leader and things are just going well, this is what we do. If people in your work center going, today's another day, going to go do more of what we do, man, get excited, chart the course, reinvigorate your team, find something fun, do some examining, figure out what your culture is. If people are bored to come to your work center, if they're not excited, if you're not lifting them up, my partner, Pat Affronti in the restaurant business in Capital Taco, man, him and I have been talking over the last couple of days, and he's really been working hard on figuring out how to incentivize the crew. Right? How do we figure out how to upsell and add different things to, our bottom line while incentivizing the crew? So we've got this cool little challenge that he's leading and charting the course on and putting together. And, we're working together in order to build culture, build momentum, build everything that it is that we're looking to do when we started this process. Yesterday, Christine and I sat down. She's my assistant state director for Florida PGF. She's a great friend of mine. She's a natural at everything she does. If you don't know this young lady and you're not paying attention to her, I'm telling you, you're missing out. She's smart. She's intelligent. She's driven. This lady's been running a multi-million-dollar organization in PFX athletics for, 5-10 years. It's been a long time. She impacts so many people. She runs the whole logistical operation of what we do. She's always walking around with a smile. Man, this young lady is just infectious, and anybody would be just absolutely honored and privileged to have her on your team. But my point there is her and I sat down yesterday. She came down to the store. We sat down for over an hour and we charted the course of this year, what our expectations are for tournaments, what our expectations are for camps, clinics, combines, what our expectations are for her and her personal growth and how she's going to level up this year and how we can build and support each other and everybody in our organization. So those are the things that, you have to do if you're going to chart your course as a leader. It finishes up with saying, navigators listen to what others have to say, right? That's your feedback and accountability. So no matter how good of a leader you are, you yourself will not have all the answers. That's why top-notch navigators gather information from many sources. Who are your mentors? Who's leading you, right? If you're at the top of your game, right? And, people will say, nobody leads the lion. The lion roams on the Serengeti by himself. But you know what? The lion gets knocked down from the younger lion and from the more mature lion and the lion that has been through more and knows how to survive and the tactics. And the lion that has a bigger pack and a bigger pride is the lion that lives longer, succeeds longer, thrives longer, and gets to stay alive. Because that lion that's all by themselves in glory and victory and knows it all, eventually ends up on the Serengeti by themselves and has nobody. So, be a lion, but be a lion that takes care of their pack. Be a lion that takes care of their pride. Your people around you, not your personal pride. Be humble and let that go. So the question was, have you taken the time to chart the course for the people you're leading? So you say, Bill, how do I do that? Well, you do it with proper planning. You do it with coordination. You do it with input from your team. You do it with information not only coming from the top down, but from the bottom up, right? Started from the bottom, now we're here, right? From the bottom up, bring the people that you are in charge of taking care of with you. Bring them with you. Teach them what you know, because if they know what you know, then they can bring those people up. Then you can go do what you got to do to chart the course for more business, for more, whatever it is you're looking for, right? For more self-fulfillment, for more leadership rising of your team. Just being able to rise, chart the course, and move forward. So carry your people along with you, right? As you're waking up today, as you're getting ready for your day at 8:45 in the morning, create a plan today on how you're going to rise your group, your team, your softball team. How are you going to educate your team? How are you going to educate, if you're an executive, how are you going to lift your team up today? I know a friend of mine, starts his day every day with a positive verse and a video and so that people, get laughing and get moving. Other people start with physical fitness. I ran 3 miles this morning in order to get my day started and get that 60 for me. So how are you going to lead your team today? How are you going to chart the course? Sit down with your people. I challenge you to sit down with your people individually. We just went into the new year. I'm talking to all of my employees individually and charting a course for progress this year. Because if I'm in the same spot this year, or next year, that I am this year right now, then great. We're going to talk about that next, the law of priorities. I'm doing stuff, but I'm not really getting anywhere. So what are my priorities? Let's talk about it. Today, give your time only to the things that pass the requirement and return reward test. Return the reward test. So we're talking about it, right? This leadership book is Maxwell. If you want to get one and kind of follow along, right? I'm giving a shout out to John there, Maxwell Daily Reader. Again, for me, I'm not a big reader. I can read, right? I can write, but I've made a commitment this year in 2024 to have my little journal, have my notebook, be sitting in on coaching calls, be sitting in on power calls, be sitting in on the different things that I need to do, right? And, listen, life gets in the way. Watch this. This is Mama. Mama's here, so I'm going to tell her to come in my studio. I'm live online. She's texting me. I need about 10 more minutes. I got to tell her, look, life gets in the way. We're not going to sit here and be perfect. We're not going to sit here and be perfect, but we're going to chart the course. Sometimes things need you to adjust and move forward, right? You're not perfect. So anyways, here we go. The law of priorities. When we are busy, we naturally believe we're achieving. We think we're doing something. I love that word, busy. Man, you're not busy. You're just not organized. Take 168 hours in a week and break them down from start to finish. Start to finish, break them down. Navigate and chart every hour you do throughout the week. I guarantee you, if you don't work more than 80, 90 hours a week, take them away. I guarantee you don't sleep more than 8 hours a day, take 6 per day away. If you do other things every day throughout the day, normal bodily functions, enjoying time, go to practice with your kids, go to here with your spouse, just enjoy some personal time, you still got 20 to 30 hours a week left over. I guarantee it. So you're not busy. And I'll sit down and chart your hours with you any day of the week that you absolutely want to, okay? Here she goes. One more second. We need to go to... There we go. Sorry. Got to take care of mama, right? All right. So why are we busy? We're not busy. When we are busy, we naturally believe that we are achieving, but busyness does not equal productivity. Activity is not necessarily accomplishment. Just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're getting anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? Just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're getting anywhere. You could be steadily Barney Rubble and moving your feet, but you're not going anywhere. You're not doing nothing, right? You're just hanging out. So what is required? What must I do that nobody can or do? Blah, 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 blah. I can read well. What must I do that nobody can or should do for me? What is my sole charge? What is my job? What is my responsibility? If it's in my family, I'm the leader of my family. They look to me for protection, support, guidance, and everything else, right? If it's in my companies, they look for me to the same thing: leadership, protection, guidance, marketing, evaluations, all of these different things, right? If it's in life, I lead myself. What my priority is 60 for me, getting my hour a day. So depending upon the situation, how are your priorities, right? What is required? What must I do that nobody can or could do for me? That tongue ties me. What's my charge? Because I can't pass that down to anybody else. I can't give it to anybody else. I can't, because that's where the buck stops. Buck stops with me, right? Like a Navy chief. There's no one else. That's it. It stops with me. I am the organizational leader at my level. E1, E2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If they have any issues, it's me. Now, I don't keep the secret. I pass it up the chain of command, right? But I want to handle it at the lowest level possible. If it's something that I can handle, if it's something that not, within my charge of responsibility, then it's up to me. What gives the greatest return? Work in your areas of greatest strength. Is there something you're doing that can be done 80% as well by somebody else? If so, delegate it. So you can't do everything. Man, I had a hard time learning that. I had a hard time learning that I can't do everything. I'm not the sole, end all. If I want to continue to grow and level up and rise and bring my organizations up, bring myself up, level my family up, I had to be able to delegate and give some of those responsibilities to other people and know that if I train those other people the right way, then I got to trust that they're going to be able to do it and carry it out. Otherwise, why are they there? Right? Why are they there? Okay? Why are they there? We leave at 10. So why are they there? If you bring them on, why are they there? Right? And again, I'm going to have to, right? What we go through is what we go through. Sometimes you have to be interrupted in life. We're going through some situations here at the house that I need to pay personal attention to sometimes. So it is what it is. That's what is required. What must I do that no one else can do? Right now in my life, that's what's required. And you have to work and rotate around those things. So what gives the greatest return? So make sure you're training your people, right? So that you don't have to do everything. You don't have to feel that weight and that pressure of doing everything. You have to be able to branch out. You have to create a solid foundation and then be able to branch out, because otherwise you will never be able to scale and grow. Man, I can use a prime example of scaling growth that I'm seeing right now in front of me, and that's my guy Thomas with Aqua Blue Pools. right? And he is absolutely in his scale up process. I've watched him in the last 6 months buy another truck, hire another employee, give up some responsibility, hand over some particular pools that are important to him in his business, got a human resource, he's leveled up, he's got photos, he's got commercials, he's going to work out, he's at these fitness events. Like, this guy is in the absolute beast mode level up of his life right now, and it's amazing to watch. And I'm watching a group of individuals in front of me absolutely level themselves up every day. And I'm watching a group of individuals online absolutely level up. They reach out to me and message me all day long. So it's fun to watch, man. And it gives me the greatest return to be able to see those foundations being laid and people being able to rise, pass some of that responsibility along, and then be able to go lead. It's important. Finally, it says, what brings the greatest reward? Life is too short not to do some things you love. What energizes you and keeps you passionate? Man, what gets you going? What gets you hype, right? Again, I started the talk this way. If you just come into the office and you go, okay, well, this is what we do. It is what it is. We do what we does. We get what we get. We is what we was. Come on, man. Fired up. Fired up. Like, get it working. Bring something in. Bring some energy in, right? Everybody doesn't just want pizza every week, right? Like, bring some energy in. Bring some excitement in. Bring something in to your life, right? Your family. Bring some excitement in. Do something different. Your work center, your own life. Be energized. Find your passion. Look, I'm just finding my passion in my 40s, right? You know, I joined the Navy. It wasn't a passion of mine. It became a passion of mine. But it wasn't a passion of mine. That's why it was so easy. I don't want to say easy. It wasn't easy. But that's why it wasn't the hardest decision in the world to walk away, because it wasn't something that I was passionately in love with. Teaching, while I love teaching, that's what I'm doing right now, in that teaching environment every single day for the rest of my life wasn't my passion. Very boxed in, very claustrophobic. So while I love it, I had to move on to find something else. Right? And then I found something, and I found coaching, and I found teaching in this format and one-on-one with people, and, you know, helping people elevate. And then I found the restaurant world again with community interaction. And I'm just starting in my 40s to be able to live my passion, right? Don't let it take you so long. Figure out the tools you need in order to get that a whole lot sooner. So it ends the day with today. Give your time only to things that pass the requirement, return, and reward test. Required. What is required? What must I do? What gives the greatest return? Who can I delegate to so that I can go build and scale, and then hold them accountable to holding others accountable and building that funnel of leadership and elevation? And then finally, what brings the greatest reward? How do you feel good about what you're doing? How can you go and be your best self? And you know what I'm going to say? 60 for me, man. 60 minutes a day for you to be able to be your best self. Today is your day. Do you wake up every day and take care of everybody else? Do you go out every single day and make sure that mom's okay, dad's okay, husband's okay, kids are okay, I'm at practice, this, got to make the boss happy, got to get this, got to pay the bill, all of these different things. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, baby, say you love me. Do you take 5, 6, 60 minutes a day? For you, it's okay to break away, man, and it's not all about fitness. Every time I refer to 60 now, everybody's like, oh, fitness, and I get it, because that's what I posted when I'm doing it. But it has grown, right? It's about your mind. How can you grow 60 minutes a day to get your mental focus right, your education right, your whole life right? Because when you're focused, man, you're going to be laser focused in everything you do. When you're fired up, you're going to be fired up in the things you do. Everybody always says, man, you must be bouncing off the walls. You're like Tigger with that. Man, I wake up like this. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. You know, whatever, right? So get your 60 minutes a day. And then it's about the body. Then it's about fitness. Then it's about rising up. Then it's about feeling good and getting that gym time. You know, I heard this again at an Elliott conference, right? Nobody ever left the gym mad. You know? You feel good when you leave there. You get fired up. You get pumped up. It's a good time. So listen, man, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everything that you do. I hope y'all are enjoying. If you are, you know, we got our socials down here. Feel like giving it a like, a follow, a share. heck, I don't care. I'd appreciate it because you never know who's listening. You never know who's watching. You never know who you can affect. And that is it, man. I will see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow we talk about, let's see, what's tomorrow? People need to know they helped. People need to know they're wanted. So think about that. Tomorrow, people need to know that they were involved and that they helped and that they did a great job and that their voice matters. But today, keep charting the course, keep navigating the ship of your life, of your leadership tasks, of your family. Keep the law of priorities in order. Do what's required. Delegate what you can give up 80% of, and what brings the greatest reward. Go find something you love. We'll see you later. Hoops out.